Bless FM radio, play good tune.
African people, if we would like to own our own schools, our own businesses, our own community development and skill centres, our own banqueting suites, police our own communities and stop knife and gun crimes, give £1 or more per week to the Bade Fund. Please give generously today and remember our children and grandchildren's future is our responsibility. The Bade Fund, our future is our business.
This is called the cancer bush.
Oh, I've heard of this. The cancer bush.
It is from nature that diseases arise, and from nature comes the cure. Dr. Paracelsus. Cancer bush, the hidden herb that supports and treats cancer patients, is brought to you by Mother Nature's traditional herbal remedies. Cancer bush is the miracle herb and can also treat these following conditions: cancer, chronic fatigue, depression, diabetes type 2, piles, hot flushes, gonorrhea, syphilis, hemorrhoids, chlamydia, rheumatoid arthritis, tuberculosis, HIV/AIDS, mental stress, lupus influenza, swine flu, and more. To find out more, and if you or a loved one are suffering from the following conditions, please head over to our website on www.cancerbush.org.uk. If you'd like to email us, please email at info@cancerbush.org.uk. You can also call us on 0208 993 4870. That's 0208 993 4870 or 07943 144 544. That's 07943 144 544. Cancer bush, the miracle herb.
Rastadaya, Rastadaya, Rastadaya. This is the Shaka from Station to the generation and the nation. Rastafari. Education is the key. All youth strive for development. Rastafari. Love is the key. Give them that message from it.
Them a wonder how blessed radio do this. I see them come with hunger. Future prophet tell them we love get longer. He dead heart it and it. Brush radio, you don't know. Pop the good music. Play them.
Oh Rastafari, I give thee perpetual thanks. My way, my life, and my salvation. See the sun rising and the life it brings to earth. The moon and the stars show the great architect at work. Hallelujah, glory to thy name.
Okay.
Yeah. Rastafari is his name. Hallelujah. Giving thanks and praise, hallelujah. Haile Selassie is his name. Daily we see manifestation of the Almighty. Mankind put away emotion, desire and greed. The road in which we travel leads to destruction. The great architect has the master plan to bring us all as one. Hallelujah.
Oh shit.
Glory to thy name. Hallelujah. Rastafari is his name. Hallelujah. Giving thanks and praise. Hallelujah. Haile Selassie is his name. ways and the means. Unto us he gives a path to bring harmony. Hallelujah. Glory to thy name. Hallelujah. Rastafari is his name. Hallelujah. Giving thanks and praise. Hallelujah. Haile Selassie is his name. In the morning when I rise, on my knees I pray, asking for the ability to fulfill thy will today. Health, strength and prosperity, goodwill to all humanity. Hallelujah. Glory to thy name. Hallelujah. Rastafari is his name. Hallelujah. Giving thanks and praise. Hallelujah. Haile Selassie is his name.
Yes, yes. That was Hallelujah by
a man.
By a man. Funny. I just want to apologize for the word that came out of my mouth, and I'm not saying I'm perfect. It's kind of a little bit of a rogue spirit, but it's very much spiritual today, as it is always. So I want to start with giving praise to the Most High and forgiving myself for me saying the wrong word in the beginning of this take.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much, because that wasn't the objective.
No, well, just a little bit of things was going on here. Something.
Right. So today, I want to play one more song before we get into this little debate. It's not going to be major because it's going to be quite a shorter show today. We are going to be talking a little bit, just like having a conversation between me and Bless. Welcome, Bless.
Nice to meet you, brethren.
Nice to meet you, brethren, too. Right, so we're going to have a little conversation about what the name of God is. It's only going to be a short one, but I really could, whoever's listening out there in cyberspace, it doesn't even have to be right now live. It can be in the future. We'd love to hear your comments about what the name of God is and what God's name means to you. So we're going to be talking about a little bit about the history of God's name. Before we get into that, I thought I'd play this really wonderful tune by Shaggy, which I think kind of on the flip side of Hallelujah, which we just heard just now, is quite funny, and it's by Shaggy. Have a listen to this one.
Okay, and you're listening to, while we're doing that, we're listening to blessradio.org. Yeah, that's what we're doing. And we're going to be talking some things today that is going to be very, very interesting.
Yes. But after Shaggy first. Let's listen to Shaggy, because he's funny and true.
Go church from all long, rather sleep through the morning and put on a slam. But me woman, she a pressure me fi go confession, so me decide fi go and kill the conversation. So me sit down right beside Sister Pam, who a tell me everything about the congregation, about Sister Paulette and her gay husband, and how she still asleep with the minibus man. Sister Gwen claim she a Christian, but last night them catch her in a stone love session. She a do the dirty dance to the Mataran song, and I say she get the thing them from Baby Sham. Jamaican who a drive the big Benz away him get money from. That's why nobody no want give no collection. No see the church roof a leak away him really depend. Every Sunday is a competition. Missing enough of them a go like them in a name brand. That they sitting wish we come out of some chunk pattern with the can for bar smell. That a no new fashion. Then she proceed fit about the man. Them only come a service we look church woman. And we pull up the gal them talk about religion. But me couldn't say nothing because me know me a one. Nah miss me. Yeah, man. So Papa can't sweet so. Yeah, man. Don't sign some call your sister. Yeah, man. Have to secure me walk through the pearly gate. Next Sunday nah miss me. Yeah, man. So Papa can't sweet so. Yeah, man. Don't sign me call your sister. Yeah, man. Have to secure me walk through the pearly gates. Chop. Me a boy no go church from how long. Rather sleep through the morning and put on a slam. But me woman she a pressure me fi go confession. So me decide fi go and kill the conversation. So me sit down right beside Sister Pam, who a tell me everything about the congregation. About Sister Paulette and her gay husband and how she still asleep with the minibus man. Sister Gwen claim she a Christian, but last night them catch her in a stone love session. She a do the dirty dance to the Mataran song, and I say she get the thing them from Baby Sham.
Hello there, it's Sista Moorino in the house. Welcome. I just want to, like I said, big up the Most High, Jehovah, Yahweh, Atun, Ra, whatever you call Jehovah God. And the conversation today is regarding what the name of God is. And this is for the audience and ourselves. Me and Brother Bless are going to have this conversation. My emotions are a little bit all over the place because obviously, you know, I'm going to be burying my dad in the next couple of days. So it's going to be a short show, but I didn't want to lose the consistency of doing a show because in our community, we start things and we don't always finish. And I really have intentions of finishing what I've started. So it might be short and sweet, but stay tuned. So what I want to talk about right now is to Brother Bless. I'm thinking to myself that I think I was at university at the time. I think in well, I'm not even going to tell you the year because I don't want to really give away too much of my age. But
just the other day.
Yeah, just the other day.
Just the other day. She a baby, people. She a baby. Don't worry.
Just a baby.
Yeah. Anyway, as we swiftly move along.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, I think at that time I think I came across the Dead Sea Scrolls. No, the Egyptian Book of the Dead.
Coming forth by day and by night.
No, the Egyptian Book of the Dead.
Same book.
Is it? Mm-hmm. Okay. It's not that clever. Anyway, so that's when I came across it. And when I first saw the Egyptian Book of the Dead and I opened that book and I saw all these symbols on there, it kind of went right over my head. And I said to myself, oh my God, what is that? And what is that? And that's it. All I kept saying. I couldn't decipher anything. It just looked like gobbledygook to me. But all I can say is I can thank God for all those scholars that were doing the work back in the day that have brought us to this point, because you can see the value of learning about us as black people is coming from Kush, Kemet, Sudan, all these areas. And it's taken a little while for me to understand really more about Egypt. So we were going to study, we're going to ask the question. So we obviously know that there are religions like Islam, Christianity, Judaism. But what we're really trying to say, what I'm really trying to say is that every religion that we now deal with today are peripheral, you know, on the edge, you know, taken from ancient Egypt.
Carbon copy of the original.
Taken from the original people. And as a result of taking, it's been changed and changed and changed and changed. I don't know. I think what I'm saying now today is that I feel like everything about nature is telling us that we need to operate in the way of similar to Mahat principles, you know, that God came out of darkness and made himself, and he made man to go and do what they wanted to do. Go and conquer this world. Let nobody make you think differently about yourself. Know thyself, man. Know thyself. And when you know thyself, you won't be, you know, you won't be at the whims of other people's values and viewpoints. And obviously we have been. So we're so far removed from such an ancient religion, which is maybe over 300,000 years old. That possibly that, you know, that long. That and so we've been here that long, and I feel that we've lost our way. We've totally lost our way with other religions, and they're trying to interpret our reality, or what was our reality, what reality we need to be getting back to, in knowing that we were born as black people with melanin to dominate what we were given as a gift, say, for instance, like whatever the Creator placed in you. Because one thing about us, and one thing I realize, is that the cosmos and the earth, nature, all have elements in them that are in us. And I mean, I know it sounds simple, but that's really important, because if everything in the cosmos, in the ecology, or in nature has us in it, and we have them in us, you know, then that's just wow to me. That's absolutely wow. What do you think, Bless? Okay, well, I'll continue talking. So yeah, so so we all have the universe in us. And I was thinking about the Dogon people. The Dogon people were people that were able, that the Europeans were thinking, wow, how do these cannibals,
they call them cannibals.
Or they're not cannibals, maybe tribal people, these illiterate people, these cave people, or these earth people.
Yeah, but these terms that you're using, yeah, that is not what we was. So that's just that's a European description.
I wasn't saying that from my perspective.
I know, but the terms, we're just making that clear for people.
Absolutely.
You know, sometimes we can say something and, yeah.
They'll punch me on the comment.
Yeah, they'll batter you on the street, kidnap you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and thing. But yeah, everything's been changed, altered, and twisted around and that. But the truth is the truth. Yeah. And they say the truth will set you free. But are we free?
No, we're not free. So, I mean, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Hebrews, these are really new religions. They're not very old. Maybe 5 BC is Islamic, or under Muhammad. You know, Catholicism, maybe 10th century that came into operation. The Hebrew writings aren't that long for the Old Testament. And anyway, the Old Testament, based on the Judaism bit, is just like, they're just talking about Moses, aren't they? The 5 books of Moses. That's the, you know, the Torah.
7 books of Moses. Yeah, that's all they deal with. They deal with the Old, but they don't deal with the New Testament.
But even in the Old Testament, the reason I'm saying about the Old Testament is that I've got this wonderful thing, right, Bless, and that I think about. Because one thing about the Bible, the Christian Bible, which I grew up as a Christian, I went to church. More in the latter years, I went to church, and I stayed there for a few years. And I feel like the Old Testament kind of ridiculed Egypt, and it was designed to ridicule and demonize Egypt and Africa. It really did that in the way it was written. And so I'm saying, this is my point. You see that word Genesis? I would say to the Christians, after I left church, that is, how is it that the Genesis is your beginning, but why does it equate to the gene of Isis or something? Why does it sound like it's an etymological gene of ISIS? So you're pulling from Egypt almost.
All right. Well, that's the way they make it look. But we're going to talk about this because, as I said, the topic today, as you said, madam, then what is God? What is the name of God? Everybody calls God different names according to where you come from and the language you speak. You know what I mean? But talking about the Genesis story and the creation story, some people don't realize that there is two stories in Genesis. In the beginning of creation, there's two stories. Did you notice that? Did you know that there was two stories? Maybe some people weren't, but just for my listeners and our listeners who don't know, Genesis gives you two stories of the creation. It doesn't give you one, it gives you two. It starts off in the beginning when God created the heaven and the earth, and he created man in his image and likeness and told them to go forth and replenish the earth. He made all that and he said it was good. And then he said, or God said, or they said, there was not a man to till the ground. So they created Adam. The question arose, who's gonna do the gardening? That's what you mean by tilling the ground. Right? So then Adam was created because there was no man to till the ground. Now, when Adam was created, Adam is a race of people, not one. We've been taught Adam was one man and Eve was one woman. I don't know about the Eve thing, but I know Adam is a race of people, or more than one people, because even in the same beginning of the Genesis, after God created Adam and Eve, or Adam, and he said, and he created man out of the dust and called their names Adam. That one word changes the whole Genesis.
Absolutely.
He doesn't say and they called his name Adam. He said he called their name Adam. That alone. This is why some people go to church and don't read the Bible. Then go past the Bible, or then go through the Bible, or then go around the Bible, or then just buy the bull, but they don't read it.
Buy the bull. So what's the second one?
The second one now is in Genesis. Further on, it starts off with, this is the generation of Adam.
Right.
After God created the heavens and the earth. And it talks about Adam and Eve and then Cain and Abel and stuff. He says this is the generation of Adam.
Right, so what's the point?
The point I'm trying to make is God made man in his image and his likeness. He made them male and female. After he made them male and female, he then says, there's not a man to till the ground. And then he created Adam. Their name's Adam, which is more than one. Adam is a race of people that God created on the earth to look after the earth. So they are the children of God and the daughters of men, which is further on in Genesis. But then you have God who created man in his image, and he created Adam from the dust of the ground. There is two creation. If you look at it properly, you will realize God created male and female, and then God created man.
But if you go back into Egyptians, for me, the difference between the Bible and ancient Egyptian and the older understanding, when God came out of darkness and made himself in totality, and that we are offspring of that totality, that we are gods ourselves, and because we are minor gods, that's what the Egyptian perspective would be, that we are not big gods but minor gods. And I mean, I think it's Delbert Blair that talks about the 12 DNA strands that were alive in those times. So you had these very strong Africans doing amazing things in engineering and the arts and writing. That's how they brought everything. They set the standard of structures. They set the standard because they knew who they were. They knew what they were, and they knew whose they were. In this time, and at that time, God said, "Go forth and
replenish the
earth. And dominate the earth." But through religion today, especially in Christianity, I find it tells you that it's almost like the caste system. You have to die to receive your, the Christ had to die to deliver you from sin, or everything comes after death. So you're not going to have heavens here. So it's kind of poles apart what this peripheral religion has done to the original source of information.
Okay.
But can we come back to it in a minute? Can I play a little bit of music just to help us on? Okay.
So people, you can call us, or you actually can send in a text on the WhatsApp as well, on the 079 444 31366. We're talking about the creation story and what is the name of God. Because we're going to talk about it after the tune, because it's a deep subject. We're just going to touch the surface of it today.
Just touch.
Because we didn't really want to give you a short show, but we're going to have to. We'll finish it off next week. I'm coming with a part 2 of it and get deeper into it. So we're going to start a little bit on the New Testament today, and then next week we must probably talk the Old Testament today, and then next week we must talk a little bit about the New Testament, so that we can understand, are you really calling God by the right name? You know what I mean? Are you? What is the name of the Creator?
Interesting.
You know what I mean? 'Cause with the name that we call the Creator is the name that we was told. So can God tell you his name himself? Can you find out from God himself what his name is, or what to call him, so that you don't make a mistake? Because the Bible turns around and says, many will come in my name, but they're going to be deceived. So basically what he's saying is, about half of the people who's calling on Jesus, half of them ain't going to make it.
Only half? Only half? What do you mean by this?
Roughly. I'm having a guess. I can't judge it. Maybe all of them might make it. Maybe 20%. I don't know. But I'm just saying, some of them ain't going to make it. Even though they're calling the name, they're not going to make it. But my argument is this. When the Bible turns around and tell people, or people going around calling Jesus, and they call him Emmanuel, right? But that's in the New Testament. But I'm going to tell you this, how it goes. The Bible did not say Jesus' name was Emmanuel. It never said that.
Okay, but we do have to look at this in context, because what we're saying is that if the religion, if the Bible has been revised so many times, and they're saying even the writers of the Bible, the 66 writers of the Bible, were writing over a period of 2,000 years, and then you're going to mesh all of this 2,000 years of changes with 66 different writers. How authentic is that piece of Bible that you've got? How authentic is it after 2,000 years of putting information?
It doesn't, to me, I look at it like this. Did you get the meaning? Whether the names are being changed, whether the places are being changed, but did you get the message?
Obviously not, because if we're talking about black people and our facts that we feel frustrated in life a lot. I'm not talking about the wealthy ones that are living life and have all the beautiful houses and have all the money. Maybe that they feel very happy, but I'm talking about from a spiritual perspective. Being under colonialism for 400 years, that kind of situation, that we don't feel particularly free, and particularly free to express our true selves. So we're given religion, and religion on the plantation was given in the latter part of slavery, wasn't it? To stop insurrection. It was fed at that particular point.
It was designed to brainwash the slaves them. Yeah. But what they...
Sorry.
Go on.
I know we can get into it, but I think I just want to play a little bit of music and then we come back.
I must say something to what you just said, though. What
Okay,
they did, they took our story, changed it, and gave it back to us. That's why we grasped onto it so much. That's why it was so easy to get us involved into this Bible, because it was our story, but it was a different version of our story. But we still, at the same time, I could say, well, the songs that they want to go home, not for the songs that they were singing in that time, was really for them to strengthen themselves and to get out of the place. They want to leave. You know what I mean? Not for these gospel songs, what they were singing at that time. It's about going home. But they're not talking about going to heaven or what. They don't know heaven. They want to go back. They want freedom. And so there's a lot of stuff going involved. And back to what I said about the Jesus thing, I mean the Emmanuel thing. The reason why I make that point, a lot of people might disagree, but the reason why I'm making that point, because the Bible says, and he should call his name Emmanuel. But Bible scholars are going out there telling people his name is Emmanuel. The person's name who is Emmanuel was not the Christ in the Bible. Emmanuel was the sign that was given to somebody else. But nobody, so all these Bible scholars read this book and they don't make it clear. I read it and I said, that is just so simple to see. This man is getting defeated by his enemies. He hasn't got no child. His wife is barren. He says, God, show me a sign that you're with me. He says, well, your wife will bear a child. Oh, she was a virgin too. But he had sex with her. He didn't say, right, his wife would bear a child. And you shall call his name Emmanuel. And they called his name Emmanuel. But this name Emmanuel was for that particular boy. Now, when Jesus was born, do they call him Emmanuel? They call him Jesus. The Bible said, and you shall call his name Emmanuel. This is in the Old Testament. The Old Testament don't mention the name Jesus, you know. The Old Testament mentions the name Emmanuel. And Emmanuel had nothing to do with the New Testament. It was just a sign that one of the man them wanted from God, so that he knows God is with him. So say, God, here's your child. I'm blessing you with a child, but you must call this child Emmanuel. And that will be my sign from me to you, to let you know that I am with you. That had nothing to do with the Christ story. But what they've done, these Bible scholars and preachers and pastors, if they can't see it simple, then something wrong with them. So if you check it out for yourself, it's in is Isaiah? No, it's not Isaiah. I'll find it next week, but it's somewhere around there. But it's definitely about the guy called Emmanuel. Just Google Emmanuel and it will tell you the story. I had to put that there because we're still talking about what is the name of God. And some people say Jesus, some say Jah, some say his name is Emmanuel. Yeah. But the Emmanuel part, although it means God with us, so that's why God gave them that man and his wife, or the king, his youth, to let him know God is with us. When we go into battle, God is with us. That's what the sign was.
Interestingly enough, you know, some people would say God is Satan. Just the term God. If we're saying God or Lord, these things are more, not naturally speaking, you know, about the Creator, because anything could potentially be God.
Whatever you worship is your God. Yeah. A television can be your God.
Okay, but let me just play. Well, yeah, we are speaking about God. I think we've got into it a little bit because, you know, religion is very intricate, complicated, and so most people steer away from it. We don't want to steer away from it. We just want us to know thyself. Yeah, know thyself. It's important to know yourself, and the only way to know yourself is to go back to the root of where everything started. We're talking about things on a symptomatic level, but if we could go back to understanding, particularly as melanated people, that in the time when the real creation, that we were all, you know, we were all spilt out of that creation. We were all as a result of that creation. So we're significant. So we need to understand what we are. We're made up of gold, we're made up of minerals, we're made up of diamonds. It's all within us, and it's all within the system. And that's that to me, that's amazing. So we'll just listen to a couple of tunes, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about how peripheral religions have taken from the root and where it's taken us on our journey now, and how frustrating on so many levels that peripheral religion has become for people of melanated, of a melanated perspective feel. So let's just play a couple of tunes. We'll be back. With Father Come Down. Oh, I love that tune. It's brilliant. And the next tune I'm going to play is from a woman that I wouldn't actually think would be doing reggae music. Her name is Shola Amma. Step It.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Said I've been waiting my heart out to you. Will you let me? 'Cause see, I'm just a girl. My life has been full, bitter and sweet. And now I got so much passion inside, I got to set free. And now is my time to shine. Ain't no mountain that I won't climb. It's the sound in this reggae music, makes me wanna move my feet and just step it, step it, step it, step it, step it, step it, step it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey. This world that we live, so wonderful, full of pleasures untold. And if music be the food of love, then play on, play on, play on. 'Cause it's in the trees, the seas, the breeze. Yeah, it's in the trees, the seas. Oh yeah, can you feel it? 'Cause now is our time to shine. Ain't no mountain that we can climb. It's the sound of this reggae music, makes me wanna move my feet and just step it, step it, step it, step it, step it, step it, step it. It's the sound of this reggae music, yeah, and makes me wanna move my feet and just step it, step it, step it, step it, step it, yeah, step it, step it. Sweet reggae music, yeah. Step in the name of love and just clap, clap in the name of love and just step, step in the name of love and just clap, clap in the name of love.
Yeah, that was Shola Amma. Amazing. She used to be on the soul scene, I think. So that's really interesting. I really like that song. Yes, Bless. Back in the house.
No, we are always in the yard, you know. We're not in the house, we're in the yard. When we go back to our right environment, we will be in our house. Right now we're in a yard.
Okay. So I'm gonna we'll be talking about the Christian Bible. And we're speaking about the Old Testament, I suppose.
Yeah. We can start off with a little bit of the Old Testament, but we had to go. We're giving you some little bits what we're going to come back with in the part 2. You know what I mean? Because obviously your belief system, a lot of people, that's what all they've got. You understand? So we're not here to shatter your belief system to say you're believing in the wrong thing. What is right for you is right for you. It might not be right for a next man. Is what I'm saying. So sometimes when you go through life and you're lost, you're going to have to try. Some people try and find a way to get their way out of the darkness, which they run to religion when they should be running to spirituality. You see, that's the difference. You know what I mean? So people get caught up in religion and don't realize that right now it's about spirituality, not religion. You see what I'm saying? Because if you take the book away, what are you going to do now? Take those books, the Bible, the Quran, if you push them aside, not say take them away, but the book says they're going to be taken away anyway. But if you push them aside, then what would you do? Who would instruct you? How would you get instructions?
You would get your instructions from nature because, like I said, at the end of the day, we have every, as I said earlier on, that we have every mineral, we have diamond and gold in us. But when you think about it, the whole story of the fall of man that the African fell as to why they're in such a terrible situation. I don't see that anymore.
Well, you know,
sorry, bless you. You're gonna have to let me finish a little piece. I don't see that anymore. I don't see
what
that.
Don't you see?
I don't see that we fell. I feel like there's just always been. In the time of Egypt, we had principles that were natural. We lived by the principles. They were innate. They the symbols that we found in, say, that same book of the dead.
Coming forth by day and by night.
When they had the images on their head, the goat's head and different images, they would say that was pagan religion, but they all meant something. They were like symbolism. They were symbolic. So we had more than one god, multiple gods, where they actually it could be the god of the morning, the god of the afternoon, the god of the night, the god of creation. They meant something different. But what was then is that we knew ourselves. You knew that you were mineral. You knew that you was gold. You knew how to operate to get what you wanted. You could access. You could work with. You had reciprocity between you and nature. And because you had mastered that, because we had lots of masters in that time. You had Himotep, masters of medicine, masters of engineering, masters of, the Sphinx, or not the Sphinx, the pyramids. So what I'm saying, I'm just trying to say that it's not a belief system for me. What frustrates the African in this time is that they have these dormant feelings and frustrations about why they're not doing better, and they know they should and could, but there are these things that are stopping them. And this is where tapping back into the knowledge of self and ancient history has to be pushed forward, as far as I'm concerned. Sorry, now you can go back.
I'm cool. I'm cool. That's cool, man. I'll say what you say, man. Which is, you have to say what you have to say.
Yeah, I did have to say that bit. I had to push it in a little bit. But for me, like I said, so okay, we're saying what is God's name. Everyone has, and I agree with Brother Bless with regards to everyone's religion. I'm just saying that Islam, Judaism, Christianity are peripheral religions that have taken from ancient truths, and it is becoming more apparent as the days go past. One thing I know, that the days are moving faster, and if I needed a comment for anyone to say amen, everyone will know that days are moving faster. We cannot keep hold of time. Time is moving. And I think it's important, as we learn more information, it's important that we pass on information, because it will keep you in your day, it will keep your spirit, it will keep your mind. I think we really have to look into our ancient ways of knowledge, because there's also this electromagnetic field pushing itself into our domain and helping us to come into some realization. So whatever religion you are, at least be good, be true to it, be heart, body and soul. But I just want to talk about the peripheral religions and how they've worked. And one of the things I wanted to say is, like, one of the things I truly see is that Christianity was given to black people, particularly in slavery. It was a version of it, because if we're talking about Constantine in is it free in
whenever he did see
whenever
it.
He said it,
whenever they say it
in the 3rd century or whatever it is it free?
We never write none of that,
Oh, that's
so we
not
don't
me.
even know if he did really see it, that's what they say.
No, well, Constantine changed the 25th of December from a pagan celebration in Greece in Rome to a day that Christians celebrate, and he was responsible for
the sun worship.
He was responsible for.
They were into sun worship.
What some of the information that was in the Bible, and one of the ones was the idea around Jesus.
Right, but we're gonna touch a little bit on Jesus, but next week we should
you
go
want
a
to
bit
touch
more.
on Jesus next week?
Next time, yeah, because we got the Old Testament we haven't even cleared up too tough.
No, but I need to throw back on the Constantine because I really wanted just to say this.
Go on.
But I'm just saying on the basis, I'm not going to go too far into the New Testament. But what I'm saying is that we were in that period of time in Rome, which is we're talking about, light years away from ancients, where they were setting their religious understanding. I'm kind of pushing the peripheral stuff. Their agenda of belief into a Bible, and there've been so many revised editions. But I also wanted to say those revised editions, when the slave was given the Bible, the enslaved person was given the Bible to stop, the insurrections and everything else, and to make them more docile. After the church, after 1865, the Emancipation Proclamation, you know how many religions are in operation? Christian religions are in operation subsequent to the proclamation, the Emancipation Proclamation of 1865, when they freed the slave. There are over 33,800 plus religions that have subdivided truths and more truths. That's why it's such a complicated thing to talk about, to be honest with you. So, not to go too far forward, but I'm still saying that we've been given information that is not necessarily absolutely true. Because at the time of Constantine, when he met with 7 black brothers and a few other brothers to compile the Bible and to make Jesus, the Son of God, there was a man called Aramis, I think his name was Arius, and his followers that did not agree with that. So this is where we're taking it. The knowledge, we need to be true to ourselves. If you're saying, like with my mum, she's gonna find it harder to say, no, I'll listen to that Shirley man, because she's older. She's not gonna listen quite as easily to the fact that the information that we have got was structured and it was fed to us.
Yes and no.
Talk to me about the no.
Yes, it was structured and fed to us, but as I said before, what was fed to us is our own story. It's just like music now. You go pop concerts and you're listening to rock and roll and you're listening to jazz, and we like jazz and we like rock and roll, but the people that who are up front making this music and singing this music are not our people. But it's still our music. Rock and roll, jazz, classical, all of this is our music. So even when you do hear another music that another culture is playing, it's still yours. It still came from your people. There's no music on the planet that has not come from black people. But a lot of people don't know this. So when we have the book like the Bible, just see it like another music. Somebody else is playing our music in the language that they want their people to understand it, and they're feeding it back to us in their language that they want us to understand and work with that. But we know, sir.
But working with that's a rudeness, because even in Psalms, I think it was Anthony Browder that defined. He said that in Psalms, I think it's 46 and 3, the 46th word of Psalms 46 and 3 has shake in it, and the 46th word from the end
Shakespeare
has spear in it. And these were the writers that, is it King Henry the Eighth?
You're talking about King James.
King James is it King James or King Henry the Eighth put in the Bible? So these guys were using codes to put their names into the Bible. So that's folly about something spiritual.
All right, maybe yes or maybe no. But I'm saying, like, there's no point. I came across this thing and I said to myself, there's no point me arguing about the Bible or arguing about the Quran, because that's what's causing the division. That's what's called religion. But when I just look at it, as I said, and just look at the story like a storybook and take what I need from it and what I don't need and what I refuse to listen to or I disagree with, I leave it. And that's as simple as it. You know what I mean? I'll eat the fruits and I'll throw the seeds away. You understand? But somebody else would want the seeds. Because if there's something there for them. You know what I mean? But there's still, I say that the Bible, from my point of view, is an African story. All right, drop it like this. Back to Genesis. When you go down to Genesis, I know you know what I'm going to say now, you know. Back to Genesis, it says, I don't even got the book with me now, but it says this river that was on the earth in the Garden of Eden compassed the whole land of Ethiopia. That's in the first book of the Bible. It mentions Ethiopia, yeah, our motherland. But we did not know that Ethiopia was in Africa. Now, if they did build that connection, or maybe some of the slaves knew that there's Ethiopia there. Where's Ethiopia, boss? Or one of their brethren, because not all of them were stupid. Some of the slaves them had sense.
Stupid? Where are you coming from?
No, I'm just saying according to the Bible, like stupid enough to fall into the doctrine and the what do you call it? Alright, because I put it this way, the ones them that I think were stupid is the one that took the book as everything. Yeah, those are the ones at that time of slavery. I think those were the ones were the stupid ones, but
they weren't stupid. You can't call someone who's been beaten down. No,
because I'm saying the ones them that kind of stood on the outside and watched what go on, it's like they knew, or must have. Some of them must have heard of Ethiopia at that time. Some of the slaves they must have, because some of them come from there as well. You know, some of them come from all different parts of Africa, and they've travelled all different parts of Africa before they got into slavery. Obviously their ancestors and their people must have travelled to different parts of Africa, and stories are handing down. So I think that some of the slaves them that was brought into slavery already heard of this Ethiopia, or known of this place already. So when they see it in the Bible, not see it in the Bible, but when they've been told about it in the Bible, they're going to say, but that's our story. So they will cling to the book a little piece. But I don't see nothing wrong with clinging to the book, to be quite honest. I don't think you have to get doctrinized and think it's this is the only way out.
No, because basically what these so-called wicked intelligentsia were doing, they were feeding information that was so not biblical. And one of the things that is not biblical is the fact that you should be a slave and be happy to be a slave and look up to your slave master. I do not know anything like that in my spirit that is so doctored. And I believe all peripheral religions have some level of doctrine. And so you said yourself that take a little bit out of it. Yeah, there's precepts, there's statutes, there's things that are similar to the original source. But you have to know that it's a dangerous item at the same time. Slavery
existed before the Bible.
Slavery?
Yeah. Slavery was there from the beginning of the Old Testament, or even in the Old Testament. That's what I'm saying. There was slavery going on long. It's just been going on from time. You know what I'm saying?
But if we're just seriously focusing on our condition, how has it helped us from 1865 or even prior to 1865 to this point? How has it made us successful? How have we seen the blessings of the Almighty through religion, particularly as regards our people? I would like to know that.
If you have a personal relationship with the Most High, you want a one-to-one. That's a spiritual thing. So if I deal with spirituality, so I have a spiritual relationship with the Most High. I don't have a religion. I have a spiritual relationship with the Most High. And if I pray or do anything, it's a spiritual thing a man is doing.
Can I ask you what you call God?
What do I call God?
What do you call the Almighty? Sorry, I don't want to call that.
I would say the Almighty, or the Most High, or the Holy One of the creation, or the divinity, the divine divinity within, or the universe, mother, father principle.
Absolutely.
But I don't think the creator that created the whole heaven and the earth and every little thing on the planet can fit into a human being. That is just,
no, definitely not.
Right. So that means that God is bigger than a human being.
Space and time and everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
So even when even when you're looking at Yeshua says we must pray to the Father.
Yeah.
I don't think Yeshua said we must pray to him. He said we can ask in his name.
Right.
But he said we must pray to the Father. And he always says, let the Father's will be done. Let thy will be done.
Don't you think that the Bible might be, say, designed for this, almost like if you're trying to feed seeds to a simple person, you make these stories that look like almost analogies.
No, but you're making it look like the Bible was specifically written for slaves.
No.
No, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Because we're always looking at that side of it. The Bible was there to condition the slaves, and it teaches them to be or to honor your slave master and be good to your slave master and all of this stuff. Right? That's one side of it. But slavery was going on before the Americans and all them people come put people in slavery. Matter of fact, the Irish people was enslaved long time before some of the Africans them.
Talk to me. I don't
all right. The Irish people was enslaved, big time, right? And what they did, they took a lot of slaves from.
I don't know why. Every time I'm speaking with Bless, that he always takes a conversation to another. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you, Brother Bless. Yeah. When I'm saying I'm speaking about the condition of black people, the alarm bell should stay strong. Because to be honest with you, the Irish people have a strong situation. They have a strong government in there. They have a strong government where they are.
What now?
Well, they have a strong government, and they happen not to be melanated people, so that the impact of issues that affect us greatly, called colorism. I don't know where you're.
I'll tell you where I'm going from. We're talking about slavery.
Yeah,
we were talking about how you were saying that the slave masters used the Bible so that the slaves, to doctrinate the slaves them. In a way, that's what you're saying. In a way, that
and poor people, yeah,
right,
definitely.
right. So you're saying the Bible was made for the slaves. So I'm saying, like, no, the Bible was not made or specifically made to control the slaves. Because if they were slaves, I mean, there were Irish slaves also before black slaves. So, but they wasn't introduced to the Bible like that. Right. But what it is, the ones who was enslaved by the same people that enslaved us.
So we should, okay, you're gonna go down this road. Okay,
right. So what I'm saying is this: the book, what they use, what you're saying, they use the doctrine.
I'd love to have a conversation that focuses wholly and solely on the melanated people. The conversation I'm having with you,
it does connect to us.
Without it going off on a tangent.
It has to go off because it still comes back down to us.
Wow.
Because do you think all the slaves, all the people in Ireland was white at the time?
It's not about the white, but I'm thinking it's always difficult to have a conversation when I'm saying that if originally we were just beautiful, say for instance, hypothetically, we were just a beautiful people living, because at that one time Africa was revered for its spirituality around the world. It was the height of everything, and to me, people became very jealous. And it was a warmongering element that came against us to bring us to our knees.
There's a connection,
and they came from a very barbaric situation. We've gone through a very barbaric situation, and I don't think there's any comparison to anyone else on the earth that have gone through what black people have gone through. There's no comparison,
but there is other people that went through this similar thing, but not to the extreme that we went through. But when you look at the history of Ireland, yeah, you will realize that there was black people, royalty in Ireland. There's also pyramids in Ireland. The Akhenaten's grandways, I would say his daughter, as far as Irish people say and what their legend says, as far as what they say, that she is buried in Ireland. The African Egyptian royalty, some of them are buried in Ireland.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
So that means our people was in Ireland. This is where you're gonna have to look at the term. Then why did they say no blacks, no dogs, no Irish? There's got to be a connection somewhere. No, but there has to be a connection with black people. Why they say that?
I think that we have enough rubbish in house to talk about. right now.
Okay.
Right? So I'm talking about religion. I'm talking about religion. We're
This is
debating.
religion.
So you've got your views and I've got mine.
I don't mind.
And we will debate this.
Stand on your views.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But it's important to have the conversation. I'm saying that, can we stay on the topic of speaking about the name of the Most High and have a conversation that doesn't leave us in an argument?
We're not arguing.
We're definitely not arguing. We're definitely not
arguing.
arguing.
Not arguing. We have a reason, but we obviously.
Absolutely.
I am just saying that I don't think the Bible was given to the slaves just to doctrinate them. The Bible was there before they started to enslave people.
I'm not saying that the Bible wasn't there, like I said, they put in information, say, like from the time of Constantine, that made you, like I said, Arius and his followers, and they're from Africa, did not accept the Jesus died on the cross element.
Yeah, I agree
so they were
that.
inputting elements that were going to go against our basic DNA.
Yes, I agree with that too.
DNA,
I agree with
this
that
is what
too.
we're talking about.
But I still say that book or the version, then look at then, the 10 Commandments come from Egypt. Right? They come from the laws of my art, or laws of the confession or declarations of my art. Right? So I can turn around and say, would that book be a plagiarized copy of the book of the coming forth by day and by night?
On so many levels.
Right.
Yes.
So if it's a plagiarized copy and we already know the original.
Well, we don't.
Well, no, to say at the time of the slaves, then some of them might have some rough idea of the original or heard about the original, because they might have known about the confessions and declaration of my art, because you must know what's going to happen when you die, or have a rough idea what people say happen when they die. True. How do you prepare yourself?
I think our oral traditions were much greater. Even though it was serious times, I think our oral traditions were greater. We are at the at the lowest end of understanding, but like I said, there are these electromagnetic fields really pummeling back into us. Delbert Blair would say that we are only operating with 2 DNA strands, and we're really supposed to be operating with 12 DNA strands. So I really want to get into more geneticism and look into genetics. But and RNA, I'm there going, whoa. He said if we had all of these operating within the cell, we would be minor gods. And I sense that in us.
But then again, if we were all operating like that, don't you think man would have destroyed the planet already if they had that power? That's why it's being capped.
We're running out of time. It got exciting. I didn't even play no music, and it was just a short period of time.
Then go on. I'll leave it to you.
It's a deep thing, but I think we kind of have.
I know people's gonna agree and disagree. We might get some thumbs up and some thumbs down, but the conversation hasn't finished.
We don't mind.
Right? I know there's a lot of our black sisters and thing who knows, and black brothers who also want to stand up and say, "Yo, Kemet, Kush, Ali." Yes, we're gonna go there.
Yeah.
But we didn't have time to go there. We're giving you like a brief, rough idea, but there's so much things involved in this, what we call God, and
we might need some more people, because I actually think the conversation would be lovely amongst a few more people, because I think it is complicated, but what
do you call God?
At the moment, I like.
At the moment,
I was listening. No.
Because it's summertime, you're gonna call him this.
At the moment.
At the moment. What you call God?
No, I call him Yah, to be honest with you.
But how do you know he's a he?
And I don't say, because I know even in ancient that one of the highest deities was a woman, was a female aspect of.
Yeah, but that's why I said you call him. Yeah, this is what. So
that's just because of the socialization of being in Europe, and I'm just trying to talk the language, and
it's what
the
you've been
language
taught.
is bereft.
You've been
of
taught
things.
that his name is Yah. Has he told you
no,
his name is Yah?
No, it was more Jah. It was more Jah. I was more saying.
Right, but
Jay was taken. Jay is not even.
Who told you his name? This is the question.
Going to church when I was a young person.
People. So this is the point. This is why we have this conversation. Is good people. Who told us the name of God in the first place? The names that we use for God. Who told us these names? Anyway, don't worry, we've got another conversation. After this show, you got Brother Saad coming in with the Grail message. So he's going to more or less. What's your debate today?
Our perceptions of reality.
Oh, he's going to be talking about perceptions of reality. That's the spiritual discussion after this show. See, so the two kind of show line up. But next week, we're going to talk more about this. Because remember, we call God certain names, but have you seen God for yourself? To verify that's the right name to call him? Although he replies because you don't know any better.
Let me just, okay, my last words on this is that we personally have to find our true self. The journey of discovery is internal. Just like the Dogon people, they would go inside to see the universe. When you meditate, you can see your external universe. You are the universe. And what we need to do is tap into things, tap into our own universe. In that universe, when you're meditating, that's when the Most High, it makes him, she, the balance, the unity, male, female principles come together and help us to get to, you know, our destination.
Yeah.
Our destination. This is where I'm thinking. I mean, it's really rushed. We're going to go now. And
yeah, we're going to fly out soon. But please leave a note and let us know what you call God. Because
Absolutely.
and who gave you that name to call God by that name? I'm not saying you mustn't, but it's just something to think about. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you mustn't use the name that you're using. It's worked for you. You know what I mean? Some, as I said, look at our elders. Some of them, that's all they got is their faith in God, or their faith in Jesus, or their faith in Allah, or whatever. That's all they have. You know what I mean? But where did we get that name from, and how do we know that that is the real right name to call God? Did God tell you his name? And you know if it's a he or a she or a it?
I just know that it's about interconnection. When you're of a light energy and you're trying to do righteous things, it elevates you to the right places. When you're in heaviest places, you know it's almost like an epiphany that you're not going in the right direction. It's almost, so I'm not gonna. We'll have to do this later because we're running out of time at the moment. So can I play my last tune?
No, you got like 6 minutes.
I've got 6 minutes.
Yeah, so you can talk for 3 of them.
I have to get one tune into this last.
Well, find the one tune. The one tune is 3 minutes, but you still got 3 minutes to talk. So
okay.
People, go on. Just take 1 minute each.
Okay, well, I just wanted to say, in ancient history, I think it maybe Delbert Blair might still say that, no, not Delbert, maybe Browder, that would say that the consonants, the vowels are work at a different vibration than the consonants.
Okay.
So that's why they would use the term Yahweh, and in a given period of time, the priest would say only we could make those utterances.
Chinese use Buddha.
The
Chinese them use Buddha. Indian man use Shiva. Right?
Yeah.
So there's so many different names. But where did we get these names from? That means unless I want to see God or hear God and have a person say, God told me the name to call, then that can run. But I think there is a time come when we need to find out for ourselves. This book said that book said that book said this. So, and we got that spiritual ability to communicate with the Most High in one way or another. Because the Most High is already all around us in nature, in the trees and in everything. So what do we have to do to connect to the source? And when we do connect to that source, what do we call it?
The ancestors. So
okay.
The ancestors. And funny enough, because I feel really quite sad. I'm actually feeling sadder and sadder as I'm moving into the last part of having.
It's okay. We'll do it next week, darling. Don't be so sad.
Yeah.
I will help you. Don't be sad.
I want to big up. I want to big up a young lady called Faith Witter and her mum Christine Witter. I know Faith has gone into business, and as a young woman, she's doing great stuff. Beautiful young lady. And her mother's very, very supportive. So I want to big up Faith Witter. I think it's Beauvisage. If I've said that wrong, smack me and I'll say it properly next week. It's their business. It's a new business with these young people, young beautiful people. I want to say more about them in the future. But I just want to big up my dad. And this last song is for my dad. Okay. So,
and the song's called
All My Life by Marcia Griffiths.
Okay, so
bless you guys. Bless everybody.
Yeah,
have a great day.
And I want you lot to leave us some topics that we can talk about. Anything you want us to talk about. Even if it's a little bit challenging, just text it in or put a notification or a message, and we will discuss the conversation, what you'd like us to talk about. It'll be interesting. All right, go through my sister. I call you sister now because you've done well this week. Right.
I want to say something about my dad.
Go.
Which one? to speak. I just want to bless my dad. Love you, Dad. You've gone up to the ancestors. I love you so much. Miss you. Miss you. And this is from Marcia Griffiths. And it kind of reflects what I really feel about you. Yeah. Bless you.
And I say peace to you, my brethren.
Peace be unto you,
with the elders. You know what I mean? And peace to my dad too, who's with these ancestors as well. You know what I mean?
They're all together.
They're all together, man. Having a grand time in Zion.
We're in.
Yeah, then look, they say, hurry up and come, man, hurry up and come. No, we have work to do here first.
Okay, Marcia Griffiths for you guys.
Right.
All my life, and I never really knew how to love. I just hope somehow I'd see just full of life from above. Send an angel down to me. Hey, I've looked all my life for you, and now you're here. Hey, I've spent all my life with you, all of my life, all my life. Never thought I could be in love so tenderly, and I never thought I could let it show. Now my heart is a mystery. This love will never leave. I know. Hey, I've looked all my life for you. Now you're here. Hey, I've spent all my life with you, all my life, all my life. Hey, I've looked all my life for you, and now you're here. Hey, I've spent all my life with you, all my life, all my life. Hey, I've looked all my life for you. Now you're here. Hey, I've spent no cigarette smoking in my room. Yeah. I still want Molly. Bless her from rain.